get us started. Here's my hero highlight for this week. Don Camacho. I met Don through life coaching, and I'm not even sure if I've shared this with you yet, but I picked you to work with because I felt like you really honored that the importance of the balance, like with spirit and the spiritual and the material. And professional, and just really wove those together beautifully and harmoniously. And I really felt that authenticity of your work. And so I have a lot of admiration for you. And with that said, I'd like to go ahead and ask you a couple of questions to get to know you a little bit better. And
Thank you.
we're going to get started with my first question is actually I'm going to use this to segue us in. So my theme for this week is second chances. And so I wanted to know what your thoughts are about second chances.
Oh gosh. Yeah. I don't even know where to start with that. Second chances are so important to me. I feel like people deserve second and third and ninth and 11th and 13th chances. I feel like all of life, every day, we take second chances. And my background before all this was working with at greater risk youth, working with a lot of like gang youth and youth in juvenile hall and stuff like that. And it felt like it was all about people not giving them second chances. So that's always been pretty foundational to what I do, is this idea that you can always make that shift.
Okay, awesome. So can you tell me a little bit more about what you do? Can you talk about how your organization serves others?
Sure. How detailed do you want me to get?
I say maybe 3 or 4 sentences, not like super detailed.
Oh, okay. So the short version is that I'm the founder and director of Whole Life Solutions, and Whole Life Solutions is I label myself a career coach, but the idea is that I wanted to create something where it was holistic. I only work with people that are at a stage of life where changing their career is going to have an impact on every area. So it's whole life in the sense that we look at the emotional and the practical. And then it's also whole life in the sense that careers are focused, but you can't affect career without affecting your well-being, your relationships, your finances, your spiritual life, all of it.
Awesome. Cool. And why is this important to you? Like, why is this work important to you?
Yeah. So I'll try to, that's a really personal journey, so I'll try to make it as succinct as possible.
Sorry, this might get kind of personal. I forgot to tell you.
No, I'm fine with that. I'm an open book. I'm just concerned about taking too long. I started Whole Life Solutions in the most cliche way because when I started my wedding, my second business, my earlier business, 7 Sense Weddings and Events, where I officiate weddings and do premarital and couples counseling. That journey was how I found my calling. So I had spent 20 plus years in social service, jumping from thing to thing and place to place, and relationship to relationship and city to city, and doing what felt like meaningful work, but where I never quite felt like I belonged. And a whole series of things, which is a much longer talk, led me down the spiritual path. And when I officiated my first ceremony, which kind of came about as a total fluke. But I got up there and I had that completely cliche moment of knowing I was home and I belonged and I had found what I was meant to do with my life. And in my counseling practice, when I started hearing a lot of people kind of expressing frustration with work, and maybe work's work, and how do you even figure out what you're supposed to do? And I really recognized a lot of that from my past, that you can feel like maybe you're doing something important and you're making enough to get by, but if you don't even know what your purpose or your legacy is supposed to be, you can't just drop everything to go find it. But hearing people talk about that was the aha moment that led me to want to start Whole Life Solutions.
Awesome. Very cool. Okay. Finish this sentence. In an ideal world, and then tell us, in an ideal world, what is your vision? So I guess I'm basically looking for your vision statement, like in an ideal world.
Ooh. For everyone, what I
Yes.
would most want for this planet.
Yeah.
Mm.
Or yeah, I don't want to limit it to just the clients that you work with, but like in general. And but specifically like focused towards your work, but not necessarily restricted to your clients. Like,
I guess in a really broad, big picture sense, what I want most for humanity is more ease, more well-being, and a deeper sense of connection and belonging.
okay, I'm looking over my last couple of questions, and I feel like they sort of intertwine or bleed into one another, like bleed over. They sort of cross each other's lines. So forgive the redundancy if you sense some redundancy here. Um, I would love to know, or I would love it if you would share your best success story ever. Like, talk about one client that you've worked with that has like totally blown you away with their progress or with the work that they've done.
Oh my gosh. um, that's always a really difficult question for me to answer because, unless I talk about you, um, because to really answer your question, I feel like I have to get kind of specific. And so even if I don't share names, I worry about
Oh, right. Yeah, details.
confidentiality.
Yeah,
Um,
revealing details.
but I guess I will say I have many who follow a similar path that still blows my mind every time, which is basically just coming in with that sort of general angst, that feeling of I have this longing that I'm supposed to do something different. The status quo is not working for me. I don't even know what it looks like. I don't know what it is. And
Wow.
us unraveling this deeper sense of purpose. It's often a creative thing. It's often
Okay,
an
I'm gonna
entrepreneurial
pause it
venture.
1 second.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
of
My
course.
connection is so poor that it's garbling
Oh,
your words.
okay.
So I wonder if you might be able
Okay.
to slow down just a little bit.
Sure.
Maybe I'll close caption it afterwards or something.
Of
Like
course.
just to not lose what you're saying.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So I was saying that I feel like there's several of the clients I've gotten to really know intimately who have taken a very similar trajectory. They start from a place where they're frustrated with their careers, they're stressed, there's often anxiety, feeling overwhelmed, not really sure how to balance their needs and their well-being and their sense of wanting to find their purpose with other things. And not even knowing exactly what their quote unquote purpose is. And I think that being a really frustrating point. And through this work, we unravel the sense of direction and meaning, and them coming in a relatively quick period of time, often 3 or 4 months, into delving into this new venture that's usually creative, it's often entrepreneurial, and it invariably is of service to others. It's something meaningful, it's something purposeful. And how relatively quickly all of that unravels and comes to that place is always pretty mind-blowing to me. It's
Awesome.
almost like Michelangelo has a quote about not being a sculptor who creates things. He just chips away at the stone to reveal what was already there. That's kind of what this process feels like. It's like pulling out this thing that was there all along. We just couldn't see it.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Okay, and we are about to wrap up with our last question. Your takeaway. What is one thing that you would like for everyone in the world to know, or something that we should all not forget?
Ooh. That life is precious. It doesn't matter if you think it's too short or too long, or if this is our only life, or we would get 100 lives. Regardless, it's precious. And I truly believe that for just about everyone, it's okay and it's possible to do what you're passionate about and not be in something to not waste another minute on things that drain you or bring you unnecessary anxiety and sadness.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure being with you, and I really appreciate your time and just sharing so much of yourself with us and letting me dig down into the deeper kind of personal questions. And you're really doing your best to doing a great job to pinpoint some really spectacular, meaningful
Yeah.
answers to them. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity. You know, I adore you and I think you're amazing. So thank you for the
Thank you.
opportunity.
Likewise. Thank you.